The west winds provide fertility, however storms lurk behind their breath. The nomads who came to live on Stormrock once blessed the west winds that brought rain and fertility to the southern region of Metir. The fertile land provided a great abundance to the people. Crops grew rapidly and abundantly, yielding plentiful grains and robust livestock. The early settlers of Stormrock were able to expand their farms and increase their influence among the southern tribes. One day, a mother storm began to form on the horizon, far out at sea. Each day, the darkened sky grew larger over the western seas. The people began to panic. As darkness enveloped their vast plateau, powerful winds began to ravage their homes, scattering their crops and dispersing their livestock. Soon, loud peals of thunder could be heard, shaking the ground as lightning cracked across the sky. Fires started as pulsating plasma collided with the earth. The winds spread the fires rapidly, scorching the earth and rocks, burning homes and crops to ashes. By the time the rain started falling, a significant portion of the area had already been destroyed. Sheets of water fell in such torrents that what remained began to wash away. Amidst the wails of the dying and injured, a deafening roar could be heard. The great west wind had spoken. The people of Stormrock picked up the shattered fragments of their lives and began the process of rebuilding. They now feared that which had provided them with so much wealth. They relocated their farms to the east of the plateau, using the plateau itself to protect their new farms from storms originating from the west. A small chapel was erected amidst the farms, where they began to worship Zephyra, the goddess of the west wind. They would sacrifice a portion of their crops and livestock to appease her, hoping that her benevolence would bring a bountiful harvest and prevent her fury from taking everything away again. As time passed and fortunes grew once more, the people of Stormrock returned to the plateau and began constructing a new city on the hill. It is there that they constructed the pride of Stormrock, the Cathedral of the Storm's Voice. It is the duty of the priests of Zephyra to assist in guiding the townspeople along the path of righteousness and worship in order to prevent the return of Zephyra's wrath. The west winds bring fertility, however storms lurk behind their breath. I decided to create a little town center area in this church first before doing anything else in the city, because I wanted it to be a main focal point, and I also wanted to make sure that I had space for everything that I wanted to build. For the actual little town center itself, there's a really nice fountain and a little nature area around it with a little garden, as well as a ring of shops that kind of go all the way around it. A little market stalls, pop-up stalls, a little market wagon. There would be a street going around it, as well as, a bunch of buildings and stuff like that. The main street would kind of dump right out into this. The cathedral itself is heavily inspired by, Western European medieval style churches, especially some of the cathedrals in France. Kind of decided to do a 2 bell tower design. One of the bell towers, you may have noticed already, is damaged. This is actually storm related, thanks to Zephyra. I decided to, really kind of make everything raised up here. I wanted the church to be on the highest ground within the city, so it's floating, I don't know, 8 or 9 blocks above the ground below it. The wall itself is probably 5 or 6 blocks tall. I haven't actually counted, but the cathedral is a symmetrical design, especially externally. The internals are a little bit different on the two different wings, but it's a symmetrical design externally. And I decided to have, like I said, that big ring all the way around it. I was a little torn between over detailing and under detailing the actual grounds around the church. I wanted it to be pretty pristine and clean. I figured the priests would probably spend a lot of time making sure it's maintained and keeping the rabble out of there. But as you might see a little bit later, there's a little bit of clutter here and there. The rabble can't always stay out. I also put a little nature area with the statue of Zephyra in it. You can see in this particular shot right here, there's a little bit of green in the back corner there. That's where the statue is going to be eventually. A little seating area, some plants, little gardens. The church itself is pretty simple. I think it's just the right size. It's big without being obnoxiously big. It's, as far as cathedrals go, it's actually pretty small, but I would still say it's big enough to classify it as a cathedral. As we finish up the time lapse here, right before we get to the cinematic shots, I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in. I've got a lot planned for this city, but I'm always also open to ideas, so please let me know if you have any cool ideas for cool builds or cool shop ideas, anything of that nature. And also please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, all that stuff. It really does help the channel, help me grow. Anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will meet you at the walkthrough. All right, let's do a quick tour, a little walkthrough of this area. To start off, we've got this little town center area. It's got this really cool fountain and natural little gardens with the seating area. And of course, a bunch of market stalls all around. There will be, of course, the road going around this with some buildings on the edges. but I wanted to get the actual center itself situated before I started filling this area with houses and roads. We got a few stalls here. We've got a flower stall, tool stall, pottery stall. We've got a place to sell some tea, dry tea and herbal teas, as well as some equipment to make the tea. Over here we've got a little baked goods area. They do pies, cakes, maybe some special breads. Not a full-scale bakery. This person would make the stuff in their home and bring them here every morning. Fruit stall, vegetable stall. And then over here we've got the apothecary cart. Sell poultices, ointments, herbs, medicines, anything to help pick you up when you're feeling down. Alright, so for the church grounds itself, you'll see this is raised up even higher. I wanted the ground around the church to be the highest ground in the whole city, so nothing will be this high that you can walk on outside of this church ground here. You can see the church itself has already got some damage to it. There was a great storm happening, caused the bells to swing to and fro, and this bell on this side, the supports for it were already a little bit crumbling, a little worn away, and the bell swung outwards, the momentum carried it through the wall, and it tumbled on down until it crashed into the stonework below. You can see we got some construction materials. They're just starting to gather, just starting to fix this place up. They've already started putting some scaffolding and shoring up the church itself so the tower doesn't collapse anymore. But you can see here they've got wooden ropes. They're going to build a pulley system to bring the bell up and bring some of the construction materials up to the top. On either side of the church, we've got this little seating area that you can come hang out in, mix some flowers. They also on both sides have these little raised flower beds, very nice. We've got a cart that's selling random religious trinkets. It's probably mostly garbage. Maybe some of it would be nice enough, but really they're ultimately kind of just preying on the patrons of the church. Just trying to make a quick coin. Around this side, we've got a statue to Saphira, the goddess of storms. You could sit here and pray to her, thank her for the months of plenty and bounty, but also maybe beg of her to relinquish the storms when storms are coming through here and are starting to damage things again. Get another little seating area. Over here we got a little pop-up stall that also sells some religious trinkets. The priests don't really appreciate this. They probably spend a lot of time trying to chase away these people that are preying on their believers. Everything must be nice for the Church of the Storm's Voice. Alright, let's go inside. The doors are mostly closed right now. Obviously during service they'd be fully open, or leading up to service and after service they'd be fully open. During service they'd be closed. But in the times that there's no service going on, you'd only have a little bit of the doors open so people can still come in and do some worship on their own. This main foyer, we've got some prayer candles. And over here we've got, it's kind of like a little confessional area. Maybe do some, ask the priest for guidance, ask for assistance when things are bad, ask what you can do in times of plenty to help, continue your worship to the goddess. Obviously this is heavily inspired by the, European Catholic cathedrals. All right, on this side, we've got the stairwell leading up the top floor above the foyer area. This does lead to both bell towers. This tower, you can see, is mostly cleared out. They got some construction stuff, maybe piled up some debris from where it broke through, but they have yet to really start working on here. They just kind of cleared it out, neatly stacked up some stone and construction supplies. Going through here, we've got this really cool, office, library area. Do some study, do some worship, maybe write down new histories, train priests on the ways of the church and the ways of the goddess. Maybe travelers that are coming through that are someone important could come here to study. We've got another little study over here, and we go up the stairs to get to the other bell tower that is not collapsed, and here they would be able to ring the great bell. Thing probably weighs a ton. All right. The other nice thing is through these doorways here, we actually have a little balcony here. Again, this is where important people would stay. Maybe, someone from out of town, the king or queen from the capital are here. The lord and lady from the castle decide to come to the main service instead of worshiping at their own chapel. Whatever the case is, important people could be up here to observe the service. All right, let's go back on down. We will go into the church itself, the main area of the church. So starting off through these doorways, we've got another little mini foyer. We're right below that balcony that you can watch mass, watch service for if you're wealthy, if you're rich, if you're influential. Really nice stained glass windows here. We've got some books for you to bring with you to your pews. A little bit more here. Nice intricate ornate designs on the walls above the bookshelves. You can see here I did a lot of ornate kind of designs to help support the ceiling, the roof. Really kind of cool. All right, down the aisle of pews, we get more books as we get closer, more large stained glass windows. In the back here, the altar, again, very inspired by European medieval Catholic cathedrals, to the point of the altar and the little lectern, and that would be a cross. However, I've edited the cross to be something a little bit more, different. It's still clearly a cross, but also different. It is the actual symbol for the lady, for the goddess Zephyra. All right, so the priests of Zephyra, the priests of the Storm's Voice. They've got the little headquarters inside the church. This side is the head priest's room. He lives quite nicely. A little small, but very nice room. The other side houses the other two priests that work here, and their room is much more humble, befitting their lower station. All right, now we've got these two little side areas on either sides of the pews. They both have, more books, religious and historical texts, but you go through them. Let's lead up here. We've got a large library / study hall. This is where they would train new priests, train new staff, teach people from the town. They would probably do regular Sunday schools and occasional classes, teach the histories, teach the ways of the church, of the religion, as well as train missionaries to go out through the land and spread the voice of Zephyra. And then you go up and we've got this little balcony that other people can sit on and watch mass, watch the service. On the other side, again, we have a similar thing over here with books and scrolls and histories, religious texts. Going through here, there's a little smaller chapel where when service is not going on, maybe you can come in here and kneel down and pray to the goddess, pray for the people of Stormrock, pray for the continent of Matir when things are going well or poorly. And then again, going up, we have another balcony to observe the service from. The other thing we have over here, the last part of the church, is we have a downstairs area. So let's go ahead and go down to this corridor. On one side, we have the kitchens. So this, not only would there be kitchens to help support the priests, but they would also help support those in need who are wanting, due to maybe recent storm damage, help show the kindness and loving nature of Zephyra after a storm has passed through and her wrath has subsided. Over here, we do have a small pantry to store some food in. On this other side, only the head of the servants, the head of the chefs, cooks, would have a key to this door, but this leads to the cellar. And in the cellar, they store in wine and other liquids that would be used, maybe some oils to help with cooking, help with anointing. Yes, the cellar would be under one lock and key, and behind this door would be another locked door. This is another locked door that only the head priest would have a key to. And this houses the gold stores for the church. The Cathedral, the Storm's Voice, would use these riches to help people recover after times of massive storms, would help those in need when times are bad. Coming down here, we have this really cool atrium that leads to a fancy door that when you open it up, it leads to the actual crypts under the church. So people would get buried here, especially of people of importance. There will be another smaller, well, probably large graveyard, but outside of the city walls that most people get buried in. The people of importance might end up here. The crypts are not finished, as you can see over on that side, but you can see what I've started here. Lots and lots of these coffins or sarcophagi, lots of little nooks to put prayer candles, put some important trinkets. Someone's skull is up there. We also, as well as that, have larger mausoleums with larger sarcophagi for people of extreme importance. There will be a very large mausoleum to house the dead for the lords and lady of the castle. So yes, that will be completed at a later date. But yeah, that is currently everything I have for the for the church. I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the lore and the walkthrough. And I hope you take the time to like, subscribe, leave a comment. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it.